The following may contain language which will be offensive to some people and inappropriate for children. Still here? Then pour your favorite beverage and let's get this fucking show started.
Forum, assemble! You're watching Fantastic Forum, the premier show about comic books and your live weekly conversation about entertainment and geek culture. We are the Fantastic Forum coming to you live and direct from the Hall of F. Hope you're having a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, or night, as the case may be, depending on where you are in the world. And if you're not, you should stick with us. We'll help you take it up a notch. You have the usual suspects in the building. First, he is our intrepid senior reporter. He's next in line for the cowl. He is our resident Dark Knight detective. It's Oz.
There's a lot going on these days. Let's just get to it.
Amen. Amen. Next, he's the backbone, the pillar, the strength of Fantastic Forum, nigh invulnerable brawler and resident strongman, Moses Magnum.
Oz is in the set of an 80s porno. And I'm jealous.
That's funny. I feel it makes me laugh hard because I feel like the last porno I've seen was actually from the 80s, and I'm like, yeah, that's it. I remember that scene.
Who were the two dudes in it, Larry?
That's too good. That is too good. I love it. As for myself,
like you're equally scared of porn and horror movies.
My name's Large Young. They call me Mary Young. Welcome to Fantastic Forum. We got a great show for you today because we are going to be talking to you all about the news that has come out of New York Comic Con this past weekend. So we'll be talking about all of the happenings there, from the East Coast from the East Coast to the Midwest to the West Coast. We're going to talk about all of that. And we're going to be bringing you a review of the HBO Max series Uzumaki, which is a animated translation of the graphic novel from Junji Ito. So we'll be talking about that as well. And of course, whatever else it is that you all want to talk about, and we'll tell you how it is that you can do that in just a moment. But before we do, we want to make sure that we thank Mr. Scott Rubin, because without him, the show would not exist. So thank you, Scott Rubin. We appreciate you, good sir. And with that said, let's have the intern do the intern thing.
Want to get in on the action? Call Fantastic Forum on Skype and join the fun. Too shy to call in? That's okay. You can join the Discord chat room available at
fantasticforum.live.
Join the party. You know you want to.
You know you want to, indeed. Join the party. Look, that's not a hollow invitation. If you have something that you want to say, something you want to express, you have commentary on what we're talking about, we encourage you to go ahead and jump on as the fourth member of Fantastic Forum. Shout out to Jay. He's not here yet. He'll be here later, though. But feel free to jump in, and you could be the fourth member of Fantastic Forum, or you can go ahead and jump into chat. You can go to either Twitch or you can go to YouTube. We'll take your comments directly out of chat and bring them into the show, such as, let's insert a witty chat comment here, please, Moses. Tiger Claw. Go for it, Bo.
He says, you guys seen the new trailer for Creature Commandos? What are your thoughts? I can already tell you, I love it. I haven't seen it. I saw that he put it in our Discord. I just haven't had time to watch it, but Creature Commandos is my shit. Like,
yeah,
I always feel I turn into Key and Peele when I hear shit. Like, that's one of those things. Like, that's my shit, you know. Like, so, and I don't really see how they could fuck it up, really, because there's like a modernization could be good for this, you know, like kind of like Agents of Shade in New 52. That's kind of like how that was. So, like, I don't see them fucking it up, and I don't see myself not liking it. But, you know, again, the world tends to surprise me.
We've heard you say that before too.
Yeah, but no, but sometimes
It's
something
rare.
like that. Sometimes I think that those things kind of come out. Like, you know, the death animated thing was one of those where I'm like, I don't see how they could fuck it up. And then, sure enough, like it was good. The animated.
Which one is the death animated thing?
We did it. We reviewed it during pandemic. It was a short, like one of the showcase, like DC showcase, like shorts. And it was,
like Death, the DC character. Got you.
yeah.
Okay.
So, and you know, but again, you know, then there's like those couple of those Spider-Man movies, and yeah.
Absolutely, no, absolutely. And I will say that from what I've seen, because I honestly haven't, I started watching it and got interrupted, so I haven't seen the trailer all the way through, but I've seen most of it, and it definitely does feel like it takes a little bit of the Agents of Shade thing going on, because it does have like Amanda Waller as a part of it, so it definitely has like a Suicide Squad kind of feel to it too. But you know, like it definitely is. It feels like it's going to be different than Suicide Squad. It's not the same,
right?
It just has like the premise,
like and low key, like that works, especially in the way because that's been so prominent and such a successful part of the DC universe right now. With talking about absolute power and even like the movies, like that's the mainstay. Like we love ourselves some of Amanda Waller shit, like that shadow government shit, you know?
Yeah.
And I feel like that's kind of cool for them for that too. Like even if we do like the Suicide Squad or you know the Wild Bunch or some shit, like you know a couple like bring in some of those other like what's the Black Hawks, you know, like all those old like military comics and kind of bring them new as like different iterations of like different task forces or fighting against a task force without knowing that they're like on the same side or some shit, like like a Black Hawks versus like the Creature Commandos like would be fucking crazy, you know, like and Agents of Shade in the middle of it, like it'd be nuts, you know. So I don't like again it's those are properties that are ripe for modernization, you know. Not Superman. I just saw the new teaser for that costume and it's like no, like that's one thing that doesn't need to change. That could look the same from the 70s as now, you know.
I mean, how much different or how different is the Superman because you're talking about the Superman costume from the James Gunn movie.
Yeah,
what's going to be like
all
the
dark
DC
colors, like it's maroon, it's like Revlon maroon instead of red, you know, like
Revlon maroon, is that what you said?
Something like that. Yeah, like you know, maybe he's born with it, maybe it's Maybelline type of shit, you know, like
Let's ask, can you pull up the latest pictures of the Superman costume? I want to see it because I you know, it's ironically enough, I mean, you know, and we'll get into this, but I don't. Am I mistaken? There wasn't like any official pictures of Superman released at New York Comic Con, right? Like it was just stuff that like people that are getting pictures like off the set. Right?
It was always stuff off the set, and then the one he did with the dog,
right?
Because they're eating cats. But yeah, so there's the one with the dog, and then there's this one where he's like just you know it's supposed to be classic and iconic, and I just like it's just vomit. It's
really you just like it that much?
Yeah, like
wow.
Yeah. It's I mean like. It's supposed to be a bright new future for the DCU, and the shit's all muted colors. Like, what the fuck? That's the shit we're trying to get away from.
I thought this costume was brighter than the last one. Isn't that the case?
You got to look at the picture. Like the picture that he released is not bright.
Like, got it. Okay. Well, listen.
I wanted to get into Photoshop and clean it up, and I have it here. Let me see.
You
go ahead. You gotta give me a minute, but
take your time. Take your time, because listen,
I did save it. I just didn't upload it.
Yeah. Tiger Claw, what do you think about the Creature Commandos trailer? I am interested in your thoughts on it. Have you seen it at all, Oz?
I saw it, but I had to have the sound down.
Right. I was working hard, folks. Like I was just sneaking in doing he's sneaking in stuff from whatchamacallit from for Fantastic Forum. Okay.
It's a lot
And
bloodier than I
that's
expected.
that's brightness
Let's-
because I did the brightness on the phone. Like that's why I did that Siri picture adjust thing.
That has to be like a lighting thing though, because every picture I've seen of like the on-set suit, it looks brighter than that. Like even the one that we were making fun of with him taking the boots, like putting
Yeah.
his shoes on, like it was way brighter than that in that picture.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I don't know what it is, but it's
Yeah.
not something I'm
If
enjoying.
if that's his Instagram account, like that's wild that's the
Like, I
the
don't
way
get why he would want to show that. Like
yeah. Yeah. Tiger Claw went ahead and chimed in regards to Creature Commandos. He says it looks really good. I didn't expect it to be gory, and this is set in the new DCU, but Suicide Squad was also gory, so it fits. And he says it's Suicide Squad, but with monsters. And yeah, it's interesting because I do feel like yeah, that does look a lot darker. Like that's interesting. I don't. Yeah, I don't know why it looks like that, but what I can't give him props for. Oh, go ahead.
That's not even the S that he's shown in his logos. That's
In
not
what
like the
logos?
official in the Superman Legacy like poster and reveals and all that. That's not the S. That's a different S.
Well,
that might be after his resurrection.
Well, what I was gonna say, ironically enough, I was going to give him props for the logo because I'm like, oh, that's like a very classic Superman logo right there. You know what I mean? Like that, like I feel like that's damn near like OG logo, right?
Yeah, like 1932 shit.
Right.
I think that's going to be a flashback.
Huh.
To what?
well, what I can say
to when he came back to life, he had the black suit back then.
What I can say is, and we'll get more into this, I think, as we talk about New York Comic-Con stuff. But like the panel was a creature commandos panel at New York Comic-Con, where like James Gunn talking about some of this stuff, but of course, people asked about other things, and one of the things he did mention was like, you like we're stepping into his DCU that's like pretty much fully formed. Like it's not a DCU that's like, oh, let's not do these little boxes. Thank you. I was about I don't like those little boxes. Anyway,
it looked good when we're all on the side, but
I don't like the little boxes. I need the big box. Big boxes. But like
biggest
basically,
you've ever seen.
And that's not to say that we're not going to get any origins in James Gunn's DCU, but it's like we might come in on people fully formed, and the origins come like in the midst of that or later, as opposed to. So we could like the Superman movie might have like a Superman that has been Superman for a certain amount of time already, hence where we could get like a flashback potentially
to 1932.
To 1932, yes, it's like Superman first steps, right?
Yeah.
We do have Hecht in the building. Hecht, tell the people where you're calling from and what you want to talk about, friend.
Calling from my house. I want to talk about things, whatever you're talking about.
There it is. Listen, I love that answer. Calling from my house, here to talk about things. It's like
I got other things to talk about, but now is not the time if you're talking about Comic-Con.
Amen. Thank you, friend. I appreciate you respecting the format of the show. Like you gotta talk to some of our hosts, help them understand that. No, look, not you, Mo. Don't worry. Like Mo's looking at me like, look, Mo looked directly at me just now, like you son of a bitch. I won't talk about you, Mo. I was talking about you.
I don't know. They all have seniority over me, so.
Yeah,
man.
Don't forget it. You gotta walk before you run.
There it is. Look, shout out to your logo, Hecht. I like that.
Well, that's just a picture of me. I don't know what you're talking about.
Did you say it?
That's just me, man.
Say that was that picture supposed to be from James Gunn's Instagram?
His threads.
Oh, I don't have threads.
Yeah.
He don't
Yeah,
have
you
a
do.
book chat?
Larry.
Yeah.
So cool, man. So yeah, look, let's just go ahead. Let's just jump into it. Let's do some news.
Need news music.
Look, ideally, but we don't need it. You know how we do at Fantastic Forum. We roll with the punches here.
Comic book news. We should have a comic book like current. Well, not like that, but like.
I love it. What happened? Remember we had that news animation joint with the radio tower? That joint was awesome. We should figure out a way to get that back. Oh, wait, was that Fantastic Forum? Maybe that was AGI.
That was AGI, but we could steal it from him. Ask Scott. Like,
We can. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look,
can I borrow
Scott,
that?
Right.
We'll just put an F on it.
What 100%? We will put an F right over that AGI logo and not even think twice about it.
Yeah.
We'll F it up. I love it. So yeah, New York Comic Con has come and passed this past weekend. We were just talking about DCU, which is or James Gunn's DCU. I guess maybe that's the better way to say it. FGI. that sounds like an organization that's corrupt. I'm not mad at it. I'm down for it. I'll be the guy that'll take the fall. I'd be like, it happened under my watch.
2 days from retirement.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Listen, I was trying to hold together as best I could. I didn't even know Joe was doing that. No.
You'll be A-Man, the Waller.
I'll take it. I'll take it. So yeah. So like I mentioned, James Gunn was talking about at this Creature Commandos panel talking about a more fully formed DC universe. And I know somebody asked him hey, so why is Creature Commandos the thing you decide to start with as your first project? And from what I saw, he basically was just it was already written. It was done. He's like, that's why it was finished first. So let's put it out. Which in a lot of ways I can respect, because I was just like, if it's done and you like it and you feel like it can be part of what you're doing, then great. But another thing that this kind of put out there, and this is based on some of the things he was saying as well, is that it seems like the DCU, the greater media universe that he's putting together, James Gunn's DCU, is definitely taking the it's almost taking the Star Wars approach in regards to what is and is not canon inside of that universe. They're when we mention it, it's in. And if we don't mention it, that's not a part of it. Which I can kind of respect. At the same time, it's I don't know. It was one of those things where it's I was wondering how you all might feel about that. If, for instance, the Creature Commandos has Rick Flag Sr. in it.
Mm-hmm.
And, as we know, Rick Flag Jr. got murdered in Peacemaker. And I think that the way they were talking was that gets mentioned in Creature Commandos, and therefore that's an event that is in. Hey man, don't be hitting Emily like that, man. That's not right.
No,
not
there's
right.
a mosquito in here.
She doesn't like to be called that.
I'm a vampire slayer.
You're a vampire. Got it.
They call
Okay,
me
cool.
the Daywalker.
But hey man, the fact is so that might come in, that gets mentioned, and it's once it gets mentioned, it's okay, that's part of James Gunn's DCU, an event that did happen and then is part of its canon now. How do you all feel about that approach? And how do you feel about that being the way that this might be ended up being handled with this new DC multimedia universe?
If I may start, it is a lazy way to do it, but it's also easier than to create an event to make it so, so like
Mm-hmm.
it's lazy but it's efficient, and
Mm-hmm.
and like you don't need a crisis if you do that. You just ignore whatever, and I don't like that. In a sense, I need an
Mm-hmm.
explanation. As a comic book guy, I need an explanation, but
But do you?
no, I mean, it could be one line.
Got you.
I mean, you saw how everything changed as soon as the Spider-Verse was created. Now I'm like, all right, now
You're
I can
right.
enjoy every movie,
Right.
so
Right.
so it's just that's all I need. It's just the concept of the Spider-Verse exists. All right, cool.
Got it. You're right.
The
So-
one line's gonna be the Flash fucked it up. And
No,
that's all,
and
that's all
that's
you
the
need.
thing, like in this case, like he doesn't want to give a line. He'll just give you little lines wherever they fit, and I guess that's fine. I mean, for the masses and mass media, like I guess that's fine. Like people will be fine with it. Like people like James Gunn, and and they like what he does. So fuck it. I'm more worried about the shit being good. So and like,
Wait, what does that mean? Why are you worried about it being good?
because I don't think like under his oversight is, I don't think it can be that great. Like everything will have a dance fight, and
You're hilarious.
and everything, like he'll have, like he'll be more worried about the soundtrack than the actual like he could have
Now-
made Joker 2, like he could have just as easily made Joker 2, So
Like let's, but in seriousness though,
yeah.
do you feel like, obviously James Gunn, at least, or I won't say obviously, what I'll say is, personally,
Yeah.
I feel like James Gunn probably felt like he had a lot more liberty and leeway dealing with the Guardians of the Galaxy than he would dealing with Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman.
You
Do you
mean in
feel like
terms of lore or in terms of like who his bosses are?
I think both.
I think neither.
Really? You think
Yeah.
James Gunn's is out here like, I do what I want, and look,
It's
he's like, franchises be damned. He's like, Superman be damned.
He's like, I'm creating the franchise. Like the franchise, I think he's confident enough that he's like, the franchise starts here.
I mean,
I'm making Michael Jordan.
Yeah. So and that's where I'm like, and his sensibilities, I love his movies that are just his movies with his characters,
right.
whether they be horror or independent movie or comedy or whatever. But when he starts fucking with other characters, like I've never liked any characterizations he's done, except for like maybe the second Suicide Squad movie, and that was only because that was just a better movie than than the first one, and he picked characters that I didn't give a fuck about. To put in there, like
That
I give a
wasn't
fuck
the movie,
about
though.
Peacemaker. Like I give a fuck about him now. So
Right.
like his sensibilities with Peacemaker are what they are, and it like from what I could tell, he didn't fuck with Peacemaker that much. Yeah, like he just made him
like,
a metalhead. That's it. Like yeah,
Hilarious.
and I'm like, how can I fight that? Yeah,
It's ironic because from my perspective, and you guys know, like, I'm not a big DC guy.
yeah.
You all know this.
Yeah, we
And
know.
while I would agree, James Gunn in that second, or not in that second, but like in that like Suicide Squad movie and in Peacemaker, like Peacemaker, I felt was like in a lot of ways like kind of a blank slate. You know what I'm saying? Like, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying Peacemaker has no character, because Peacemaker in some ways is almost like a government sponsored like Punisher.
Mhm.
But Punisher has more personality than Peacemaker, which Punisher, like for those who have ever read Punisher, knows that Punisher doesn't have a lot of personality.
Like you can do like one of my favorite books is Becky Cloonan's run on Punisher, and he's basically just Michael Myers. So
Right.
like It's a
Yeah.
horror story for
For criminals.
criminals.
Right,
And they're like,
100%.
oh, he's here, and he's like, dun, dun, dun. Like he comes out of the darkness, and then there he is. You know?
Right, but and that's the whole
I
point
want
where I'm
that
like, dude,
movie.
if I
Yeah.
tell you, okay, Punisher has more personality than Peacemaker, that should inform you in regards to what Peacemaker's personality is like, right? But the irony of the whole thing, and don't get me wrong, like I love like the Peacemaker series, but one of the few DC characters, well, I should say one of the few obscure DC characters I actually give a damn about is Vigilante. Like I grew up reading Vigilante comics and just being like, oh, Vigilante's an awesome character, because in a lot of ways I felt like, okay, Vigilante was like Punisher, but with character. Like with a personality, you know what I'm saying? Like which was the funny part about the whole thing, because Vigilante and like the Vigilante and the Punisher kind of like mission characterization or whatnot are very similar. It's just that Vigilante felt like a human, and like you said, Punisher almost feels like a force.
Mhm.
You know, Punisher almost feels like he's not really a person as much as like the human embodiment of street justice. You know, So it's just like you have friggin' you have like
What's the dude's name?
Death, and then you have like Punisher. You know.
What's the dude's name that killed the dude with the neighborhood watch guy that killed the dude with the white hoodie? George.
Oh, you're talking about
Zimmerman.
that Zimmerman?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I want to make him into the boogeyman. Like, start wearing masks for Halloween of his face.
F that guy.
No,
man.
no one's
Listen,
gonna know who you are.
I don't know that's true. Some people might know, but yeah, I hear you. Yeah,
you
man.
Get it at
Frickin',
Heck.rock.
he killed Trayvon
Get
Martin,
the
man.
Heck, let's go
Anyway.
to business. Let's go to business. Heck.
Hey,
Let's make these masks.
let's talk about after stream before. I don't need people stealing this idea. I don't have a job. I need money. I'm all for it.
Yeah, but I, honestly, I like, and I say all this just to say that I disagree with the idea, and I could be wrong here, because Lord knows, like, look, James Gunn could potentially be a raging egomaniac, and he just puts up a good front in public, that he doesn't have any qualms about, or no consideration about the idea that, hey, like, taking on the portrayal of these particular heroes is a big deal. That could happen. At the same time, I don't think that's the case. I'm going to say that right 100%. I don't believe that's the case. What I do believe, and this might be the same thing to you, Moses, because I get how you think, is what James Gunn does believe is that there's been multiple portrayals of all these characters, and he very well might be like, hey, like,
I'll give you the best
version's not going to be the worst one.
Yeah.
Guess what? I believe that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's been, at this point, there's going to have been worse portrayals of Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman, from my perspective right now, than probably what we're going to get from James Gunn coming up. Now, if I'm wrong about that, and James Gunn somehow makes like the worst or shepherds in, because I'm not even saying he's not going to make all these movies himself, but if he somehow shepherds in the worst version of Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, or any of their major villains, I would honestly be shocked by that, just because I'm like, I mean, thinking back, like, do we feel like James Gunn is gonna make a worse Superman movie than like Man of Steel? Like, I don't believe that. Like, I don't think James Gunn is gonna helm a worse Batman movie than George Clooney's joint.
No,
Like, I don't think that's gonna happen. I don't think James Gunn is going to helm a worse Wonder Woman movie than 1984. Like I don't think that's going to help. That's going to happen. Now I could be like I don't believe he's going to give us a worse Joker than what we just saw or Leto. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that's going to happen. So I'm just going to let.
Nah, man, you got to pick one. Only one can be the worst.
Oh no! I mean, they can contend. Like,
no, sir. Somebody has to be better than the other.
Not low
I
key.
can feel one way one day and a different way the next. I can do that.
The Jared Leto one had a good scene in the Snyder cut.
He did.
That's true. That's true.
That's kind of redeeming, like, and it's just more about the writing and the characterization and direction or whatever. And for me, it's like that scene. I had never watched the Snyder cut. I just watched that scene, and I'm like, that's his shining. That's his swan song. That's his shining moment. Like he's a better Joker than Joaquin Phoenix. Like,
well, look, listen. What? And we kind of like touched on this conversation last week, where it's like Leto is a terrible Joker. But it's Joker.
Yeah.
You know? Now, Phoenix is not Joker.
Yeah.
and that's the like and so he had a better performance probably in the first movie, but as a character that's not actually the Joker. And then Leto has a worse performance, but as a character that is at least, which we wouldn't have realized until Phoenix came along. Like Leto is recognizable as the Joker. You know, where you're like, he looks like a ridiculous clown of a person, but not in a Joker way, but he's recognizable as that character. So it's just like, you know, who knew? Nobody knew.
So you know, after Joker 2 tanked, whoever James Gunn's Joker is, hopefully will be the definitive Joker. And honestly, I think they should abandon a Joker for like the next 10 years.
Oh, come on, Moses.
And just
really?
Develop other villains. Like you could do a Hush. Like Hush is hot now because we're getting Hush 2 at a New York Comic Con.
Right.
Why you smiling like that? Like
they're doing a pretty good job with Penguin.
Listen, and that look, this is all fair game right here. Yeah. What I say to you about this, in regards to your comment, is this, Moses. I hear what you're saying, and I don't disagree with you. I just think the timeline is too long. Not 10 years, maybe 5. Like,
no. It takes about 2 years to make a movie, so we need 3 movies without the Joker. It
doesn't take 3 years to make a movie. What I'm telling you,
we need 3 movies without the Joker.
What I'm telling you is this. No, 3. Look, I'm down for that. What I'm telling you is this: is not like James Gunn's first Batman movie, like whatever he's helming. Because again, I don't know that he's going to be making it, but the one that he's in charge of is a little ways off. So what I'm saying to you is the first Batman movie shouldn't be a Joker Batman movie. It should be something else. And then the second DCU, James Gunn's DCU Batman movie can have Joker in it if they want to. And that's probably like a 5-6 year timeline. And that's okay to me. That's enough time.
10 years.
Second Batman movie, you bring Halle Berry back.
What the heck? Please don't make us like cut you off, man. We want you here. You're already the 4th member of Fantastic Forum. And speaking of which, the 5th member, Jay, is here. What up, Jay? Good to see you, friend.
Hey,
Jay. Look, weigh in, man. How long, based on what's been happening, with the Joker as of late, how long before we get this bad taste of Joker out of the public's mouth and should revisit a Joker appearance in mass media, in your opinion?
Well, he's already set to show up in the next season of Cape Crusader.
Right, which is what everybody's waiting for. Highly anticipated Cape Crusader 2.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so I mean...
Or season 2.
We're going to get him.
Okay, how long before we get Joker in a movie, in your opinion? How long should we wait? Or should we not wait? You're like,
or
Make
for
that
James
Batman
Gunn to
movie
bring
next
it.
year.
Like, I guess the question is for James Gunn to bring him in.
I'm kind of tired. Like, there seems to be this sentiment where, like, you need the Joker. If you're going to have Batman, you need the Joker. He's got to be there. We got to see him. It's like, no. Like, Batman has a huge, like, one of the biggest rogues galleries in DC Comics. Some are criminally underutilized.
That's true.
And so I disagree with people thinking we need to have the Joker. Like, we can let the Joker rest. We can, we can do our Man Bats, our Professor Pigs, our
Mad Hatters.
I mean, yeah, Mad Hatter.
Clock King.
They literally teased.
I
the
will
Joker
almost
for
never
Batman
not
2.
want, like, I will almost never not want a Riddler.
Yeah.
Just personally.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Even the bad one that we got last movie.
It was like, it was really a bad Riddler, but an amazing Riddler plan. Like bad Riddler, but great Riddler story.
Like, the only thing that would have redeemed that Riddler, like, for doing all that, would have been if the Flash would have been there too to help.
See, now what I will say to you is this: it's not really a bad Riddler; it's just a bad costume, right?
No.
I have to rewatch it.
You guys didn't like the Joker in that movie?
Again, we didn't need him in there. Like, there's no reason to have him. Like, I
think that was a setup for the sequel.
They were forced to put something in there just to, like, because you need. It's that same notion that Jay was talking about, that you need to have a Joker. Like, nobody needed to see that. No, we don't. Nobody. We know none of us needed to see that to enjoy that movie any more than what we did.
What I will say to you is this: is the sentiment that you all are putting forward makes a lot of sense to me. However, I do feel like that is very much a comic book fan mentality. And
what the fuck's wrong with that?
Whoa, hey man. Did I say anything was wrong with it?
I don't know, man. It sounds like you're setting up for that. Let me cut you off at the pass.
Let me listen. I'm not. Look, I'm with you. I'm not here to mess around and be like, oh, the comic book fan mentality is the wrong mentality. What I'm trying to say to you is the masses, and that is who movies are made for.
The masses?
Right.
The masses.
Right. Very well may feel differently. And I'm just putting it out there that their opinion, which is, again, like, people are making movies not for comic book fans, but for the masses.
Masses.
They might feel different, where they're like, how you go 3 movies and there's no Joker? Where's Joker?
If I may play devil's advocate,
please.
More than Larry?
Fuck him.
That's not devil's advocate. That is the foregoing mentality of Fantastic Four. That's what the F. Yeah, that's what that stands for, right? Apparently,
heck,
that's like. So I'm just like, yeah, and
coming soon to Heck.Rocks.
So it's an interesting thought process here, where I'm just like, yeah, like, but look, it feels like Joe agrees with you, Mo, where he's like, we don't need that, and I'm not disagreeing,
but I just need him to commit to a 10-year timeline.
You talking about James Gunn or Jay?
Jay.
Like, I don't really. Yeah, we don't need to wait 10 years. We can wait like 20. There's no rush.
Look,
yeah. Could you imagine if we had 20 years of Batman movies with no Joker? Like, cats would be like, what? They would be like setting themselves on fire. Be like, give us Joker.
You know what they would be? You know what they would do? They would be forced to read fucking comics.
Oh, please. Oh,
True.
Come on, Joe.
Yeah.
True.
Joe, you don't believe.
Yeah.
Jay, you don't believe that. You don't believe that.
Let's
That's a good line. I will vote for you for the president of whatever the comic book comics pro president, I would vote for you for saying that. I was like, wow, this fool's committed. He loved comics for real, for real. I'd vote for you, but that's some BS.
Look,
you could buy your Read Fucking Comics shirt at fantasticforum.live. There is a
right in the link.
button, yeah. So you could buy your shirt that says Read Fucking Comics with RF on it. I had the thing here.
Justice League came out in 2021. The Batman came out in 2022. There's no script for a new Batman movie yet, so we're at least 2 years off from that. You're already halfway to the 10-year mark already.
That's not true because we just had a Joker right now.
A Joker movie just came out, right?
Yeah, and then the taste in the mouth.
That's not real Joker. That's not real Joker.
Listen, like
they don't know that. They don't know
exactly. All they feel like, we had that bad Joker movie. Like, and that's the thing. The masses, they don't care.
Like
from their perspective, we just need it. We don't need it to be good or bad. We just need it.
Imagine if they can't do Joker for like 10 years or maybe even 20, like Joe said, and they just focus, let's say, like on a Harvey Dent, and they'll start with like a Mask of the Phantasm kind of thing, then like the Two-Face, and then he evolves into that full-on judge that was just killing motherfuckers, and do a trilogy like that. Like,
see, listen,
that would be the shit. You'd be forced to do that if you couldn't use a Joker.
Let me tell you who I think, and this is my joint where, like, when you talk about, this is the difference between a comic book fan and like the masses. From my perspective, I like what you're talking about and what I'm saying, where people are like, we need the Joker. I'm like that, but for like Mr. Freeze. It's ridiculous that we haven't had Mr. Freeze as like a primary villain in a Batman movie since the 90s. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, it's such a good character. They gave us the template for it in the animated series where it's like, all you have to do is remake that into live action. Like, that joint would be one of the best Batman movies that ever existed.
And the trilogy with, like, the remake of Sub-Zero.
Can we put the Penguin in that movie, too?
Yeah.
No, Joe. See, you're messing it up already, Joe. Goddamn, Joe. Don't you understand? That's what happened with the last Mr. Freeze joint. Like, look.
No, you can't blame that on.
I can. I will.
No, you can't though.
In fairness,
it's all the writing. Like, even if that chick was written out, it would have still been terrible.
Here's what I'm saying to you is, you can have another villain in a movie with Mr. Freeze, but thematically, it should go together. And I'm not talking about powers. I'm just talking about
Penguin.
He needs an
Iceberg
environment.
Lounge.
Yeah.
What the hell are y'all talking about? Like, thematically, I'm not talking about ice. I'm not saying, it needs to be friggin' what's home chick's name?
And then
what's home chick's name? What's the ice?
Killer Frost.
Yeah. I'm not saying it needs to be Killer Frost and Mr. Freeze. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying to you is thematically should go together, and Penguin and Mr. Freeze, from a thematic standpoint, aren't two villains that, like, you're like, it makes sense for them to be working together necessarily. So what I'm telling you is,
for the lounge.
Jesus, I hate you so much right now, Joe. I'm just like, golly, man. Like, but what I'm saying is, Arnold Schwarzenegger played Mr. Freeze in like the 90s, and it was so bad, which it was a bad movie. I'm not gonna say it was. I'm not gonna try to pretend it was good.
It was a good adaptation of the 60s show.
No, it wasn't even that. Like, it might have been trying to be that, and guess what? It failed at that too. And what I'm saying to you is, it put such a stink on that character that people were like, maybe we should never go back to that, because they don't understand the character itself. The character is fantastic. Like that, like Mr. Freeze is the kind of character that could carry Batman throughout an entire trilogy if you do it right. But I'm not even saying we should do that. I'm just saying give Mr. Freeze another chance, goddamn. And that's for me. I'm just like, how does no one look at other interpretations of that character and be like, because they do it in animation, they do it in the video games. Like Mr. Freeze has been they do it in the comics. Like Mr. Freeze is awesome consistently in every medium.
Get out of here, Tiger.
So why they don't go back in the movies and be like, let's give this guy a shot again? I don't understand. And meanwhile, we're out here with Joker musicals. You know, like that's crazy. That's crazy. Go ahead, Mo. You were gonna say something.
Tiger says, "What if they gender bent Mr. Freeze with Mrs. Freeze?" And you remember Mr. Freeze's wife's name is Nora. Nora.
I mean, listen. If they decide to make if they decide to make Victor Freeze the one in the ice and his wife the one that is the villain, I don't have an issue with that. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that that's what I would prefer. What I'm saying is, if that's how I get a Mr. Freeze story or a Mrs. Freeze story, whatever. It doesn't, like, at this point, how can I be picky? Like, we're talking, look, when did this movie come out?
If you take away...
It was Batman and Robin. Right? Batman and Robin is like the end of the 90s.
If you take away the beautiful, iconic image of Nora Freeze in the snow globe, I will beat you myself.
Come on, man. See, but you're too... Listen, you like, if it was Channing Tatum in that ice, you'd love that too. You can have that, Haas. It's okay. Like, I'm not telling you to tell the rest of us how it makes you feel. I'm just saying enjoy it personally and just, you know.
Larry, you gotta chill out, man. Chill out.
Yeah, Larry. You need to move on because you brought Channing Tatum. Like, what the fuck? Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, all right, what else happened?
Channing Tatum doesn't. He's just being
at New York Comic Con.
He's just being a podcast.
What else happened at New York Comic Con?
He's just mad because they canceled Blade.
I apologize, Oz. Moses was the one who had to hide his feelings about how he felt about Channing Tatum.
I love Channing Tatum, but
we know now.
He has no business in this conversation at all. Like, leave him the Magic Mike. Like,
that's why he's in the ice tube.
Yeah, that's his superpower. Leave him there. That's
so Oz gave us the perfect segue because look, he's
I thought I did, but you guys kept going for another 5 minutes.
I'm literally going there right now. Oz, goddamn. See,
you never been there. Always late.
So Blade has been put on indefinite hiatus.
I'm happy to hear
freeze.
That. So listen, and I'm not gonna lie, this might be Deadpool. Listen, I know that there's a lot happening here, but I'm like sitting here like, damn, like, are we gonna mess around and like get Wesley Snipes' Blade again before we get that other Blade movie? Like, maybe that might happen. Who knows?
Old Man Blade.
Right. But here's the thing.
That's the comics.
Like, Wesley Snipes don't look that old.
Always bet on black.
What'd you say, Oz?
He looked good in the movie. He still
looks. That's what I'm saying. Like
I've been saying that before. Like, I told you guys about What We Do in the Shadows, where he was Blade in there, and you guys like, nah, he's old. You know, he still looks good.
Hey, listen, you're right.
Still wants to be Blade, but you guys are like, no. Hey, you fucking motherfuckers.
I mean, can we say that you're right, or would you
should
prefer
have
us
accepted
to...
it then?
Oh God. Okay. Well, you know what, Mo. You're an idiot, man. You dumb for thinking that. How dare you? He wants us to fight. We'll fight. I don't care, Mo. Look, next time I see you, I'm gonna grab you by the collar.
My foreskin collar.
Always be nice to your barber, dude. That's all.
Hey, man, listen. I'm gonna get him an autographed picture of Channing Tatum.
I don't even like Channing Tatum like that.
No, hey, it's too late. Oh, Jesus.
There we go. Keep it old.
Listen, we went from the 60s to the 90s with Schwarzenegger, so I guess like it's 30 years, right? So no, but if it's 30 years, that means we're due, right?
Right about now, yeah.
Yeah, look, okay, maybe that's what'll happen, man. Maybe somebody will be like, yeah, we need these we need to bring Mr. Freeze back. I hope that's the case.
So, but what, like, back to the Blade thing, like what is it that like made it cancel? Because I know they were having problems before even Deadpool.
Right. No, and look, and don't get me wrong, Deadpool hasn't, like, obviously Deadpool didn't really change anything in regards to Blade. Blade was having issues with scripts and like everybody's been pretty close to the vest with what exactly is happening. So I can't sit here and tell you like I know what's happening. What I can say is indefinite hiatus is the word that was used, and that often, like, I wish canceled was the word that was used, because then we could be like, oh, okay, that Blade movie is not going to happen, and we're gonna figure out what the next step is. But we're not there yet. Like, this is in the territory of like Ant-Man right now, right? And so, which eventually we did get an Ant-Man movie, and the Ant-Man franchise is what it is. We'll see. Like, let me put it like this: like, as much as I enjoyed some of those Ant-Man movies, I don't wish Blade to suffer the fate of the Ant-Man franchise. Like, I hope for better for Blade than the Ant-Man trilogy. So I don't know. We'll see what happens, but like I don't like. I will tell you this: if Mahershala Ali isn't suited up as Blade within the next 12 months, I don't think Mahershala Ali is going to be Blade.
Honestly, I think they locked him in before his Academy Award, and then now he doesn't want to do it. Like, he don't want to be locked in a contract. So
all he has to do is say that, right?
Well, but he can't say that under contract. He just has to be combative and angry and
let them be like, and so then they'll be like, okay, hey, we're gonna let you go.
Right.
Hard to work with.
Yeah.
That could be the case.
The term is in show business, Larry, we call it ungovernable.
Governable.
Yeah. And and it's just not worth the budget doesn't meet. Like, he wants to get paid more. Like, he's locked in the contract, and they're not going to pay him more. So this does not make the movie, or wait and do it. There's a time to the contract. They just wait till it runs out, and then we'll get we'll get whatchamacallit's Blade.
Wesley Snipes.
No, well, even Wesley Snipes, but he'll be like the Whistler. We'll get like some black girl to be the next Blade.
Oh, that's not what we should do.
Why not? That's the comics. Like,
no, I agree. And don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not, the character in the comics is a cool ass character. I'm not saying we shouldn't make a movie about her. I'm saying we shouldn't do her movie first.
I mean, we didn't. We had 3 Blade movies already.
Well, but like in the MCU, there's 0 Blade.
Again, we could just talk and say that they're in the MCU.
I'm sorry, what? Oh, you mean like do it in the middle?
Yeah,
hey, and I guess that's the case, sure.
Yeah. And he'll still be a part of it. He can still do his thing, if you want Old Man, have your TV series of what's happening before he had a daughter, and then him and his daughter on the movies,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, look, you could be right. You could be right because I know that like
Look, you better start. You always bet on black, Leary. Just say I'm right. Just say I'm
Stop
right.
trying to skate ice up.
Yeah.
Stop trying to skate uphill, Larry.
Yeah.
right. No, I skate uphill. Right.
Last time you didn't believe me, and here we are.
And here we are.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, man. So we'll see if that joint happens or not. But yeah,
I'm glad it's not happening.
yeah. Like I said, if it does, like if they don't start filming in 2025, I don't think that joint's gonna happen. So,
Like,
but you know,
where I'm pissed off is I don't want to go off subject too much, but Into the Spider-Verse, like I want that shit. Like the next one, like what the fuck?
Oh, you talk about the Miles Morales joint?
Yeah.
Listen, I don't think that as far as I know, there wasn't any news about that at New York Comic Con, which is sad.
I'm only bringing it up because it's like a similar issue where it's like permanently a hiatus, but there's nothing like coming from it, and I'm about to be like, well, no, I'm not gonna say that. I'll be a patriot about it and storm the studio. Like, yeah. I'll be a good person full of love and go up to the studio and demand it by force.
And
right.
Spread your love.
Spread my love. Yeah.
You know, I don't even think they should do a full-on Blade movie. Just do Midnight Suns.
Do you really feel that way?
Get the fuck out of here. Yeah. I was never read those comics. Well, look, he played that game, but he wants that game, not the comics, Midnight Suns.
No, you got most of them already in there.
Do you?
By night, you have Man-Thing, you got Moon Knight. You technically have magic.
Hey, I mean, okay, hey.
Yeah, keep playing your video.
They don't have. Look, I'm not gonna say Ghost Rider or Morbius.
Keep playing your fucking video games.
Listen, what I will say this is the Midnight Suns video game is actually a great game. I enjoy it thoroughly. It is definitely a different take on Midnight Suns, which I appreciate.
It's a different spelling. Like you'd be in Norway for that shit. Yeah.
Hilarious.
Not in the bayou.
Indeed. Oh Jesus.
Midnight
Sun. Look, Moses is the Joker now.
We gotta start the time again.
Joey Jonah.
He's more what?
He reminds me more of J. Jonah Jameson.
Oh, that's funny. There it is.
It is an editorial quip.
So
fact, you know what? Fuck it. Hey, we're here now. Shit. This motherfucker. Winston Churchill didn't die in vain. Shit.
What? Oh, are you about to smoke a cigar?
This man's going full gimmick. Full gimmick.
All right.
That's too funny.
That's a shirt right there.
Yeah.
So, speaking of Spider-Verse, man, okay. So what we know is Marvel is trying to do their brand synergy thing because you got a Venom movie getting ready to come out. And
Thursday.
Say again?
Thursday.
Right. And so, I get it.
Yeah.
Correct. Both of those are correct, Jay. You got it.
We should be there tonight.
No, should not be there tonight. Both of those are there's nothing wrong with the idea of brand synergy. The big thing is obviously like Spider-Man is popular, and in turn that makes the symbiotes popular to a degree. Which I guess I should say symbiotes. I should say Venom. Right.
Symbiote.
So the symbiotes. But either way, but man, like they are leaning into the symbiote thing, and which I guess if they hadn't been doing it, would make it a little bit more tolerable. But since we've been in the symbiote space, because Lord knows, like King in Black, I know that technically that was like was King in Black 2019 or 2020? Y'all remember?
Like 2018.
Oh, okay, but it might have been 2018, but it was like a year and a half, right? Or am I wrong in that? It felt long.
Yeah, it started like Silver Surfer in like 2018, and then it went through the whole rest of the year.
Like I feel like what stopped King in Black was the pandemic.
It was published from 2020 to 2021.
Okay, King in Black.
Yeah.
Okay, so there. Okay, so it wasn't that long ago. Okay, well,
pandemic.
Right. It was like the pandemic was when King in Black was happening. Okay. So, but what I will say is, it since King in Black, it felt like we've had a steady stream of like symbiote stuff happening consistently. Like there's a symbiote event all the time, and so New York Comic Con had some news where they mentioned a few different things. They got like the new Venom book coming out. And the whole like hook for that is you don't know who the new Venom's going to be, and they mentioned a whole bunch of different people, or a whole bunch of like potential folks.
Is it Miles Morales?
Well, the money right now it seems
always
like
bet on black.
Right? No, but not Miles Morales. Right now, it's looking like it might be like Luke Cage, which I'm just like,
what
Luke
does he
Cage
need a symbiote for?
Hey, listen.
It's
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, they haven't said it's Luke Cage, but Luke Cage is currently, if I'm not mistaken, in the Marvel Universe, is currently the mayor of New York, and the mayor was one of the people that were mentioned, and so people are like, oh, it's going to end up being Luke Cage as the new Venom.
That's not interesting.
Hey, listen, I never said it was. What I'm saying to you is the hook is who's the new Venom, and most people's money is on that it's going to end up being Luke Cage, which I don't know if that, like the last Venom, or as far as I know, Venom right now is Eddie Brock's son. So, but I know they're like at the end of Venom War, and so I guess that might change. I don't know. Like I'm not reading Venom War, and I'm probably not. So again, like I said, symbiote events all over in everything.
Conversation today at work with one of the dudes whose hair I cut, and he's a dude that he's actively reading comics. Like all his friends are talking shit to him because he loves Spider-Man Reign 2. And he's like, he's really on it, and then I'm on it too. Like, so he's like, he checked. I'm like, yeah, that shit's fucking dope. And then the consensus is with his shithole friends and me and him is that Ultimate Spider-Man's the shit.
Yeah, Ultimate Spider-Man's awesome.
But we're talking about the Venom shit, and it's like, like symbiotes aren't that cool. Like,
they used to be because they were a little bit rarer.
Right? Yeah, and
now it's like 3 dozen symbiotes.
It's like having Wolverine in every book, but they don't have the charisma.
100%
charisma Wolverine, because Wolverine's charisma only works depending on who he's talking to.
100%.
Like you have a Ben Grimm and Logan book where they're like pilots in the Air Force, and it's boring as fuck. I love it, but it's like it's not.
I agree.
Those two talking to each other. Hey, bro. Hey, Bob. Hey.
Right.
It's literally just them graveling at each other.
Right.
It's it's like that episode of 30 Rock where Alec Baldwin and the dude that does the Lego Batman voice just talk to each other like this for a half hour. Yeah.
Right. But that's the whole thing where, as much as you might be like, Wolverine is oversaturated because he's in every book, at the very least, it's Wolverine. With the symbiotes, it's not even the symbiote you care about. It's just a random ass symbiote. It's like, it looks like Venom, and then you're like, wait a minute, Venom's acting weird. Oh, that's not Eddie Brock.
like
That's
the
somebody
best,
else.
'cause, you know, when you talk about it saturating too, like permeating and suffocating, it's in Snap, like the last like what 2-3 seasons, and
Dude.
I'm like, that's why I'm killing it in High Voltage right now, like because I'm not even worried about this season. I paid for it, but I don't care. I haven't been able to get anything with the keys, and I
Yeah.
haven't been able to buy anything with
Mhm.
the collector points. So it's like
Mhm.
I'm not even using any of them, and I'm fine. I'm still killing it. And
Mhm.
high voltage came at the perfect time.
And no, I
in
agree with
Snap.
you.
Yeah,
High Voltage is a breath of fresh air. Even
yeah,
though, like, ironically enough, the season pass card was Agent Venom, and
yeah,
Agent Venom is one of the few symbiotes that's like, dude, I love Agent Venom.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
when you had Flash Thompson's Agent Venom, that was like one of the. I was like, wow, like this is great because it was such a fresh take on the symbiote like formula because it was a whole different thing. And that's the thing. That's what like. If you're not gonna give me something that's like I feel here's the messed up part. The messed up part is this: you make an additional symbiote, right? And it's like they've made a whole bunch. It would have been different if you're like, let's try to make a different version of Venom, which is what Agent Venom is. But what they mostly do is try to make a different version of Carnage. And I'm like, why would I want a different version of Carnage? Just give me Carnage. Like, it's literally like twice removed, and it's like, dude, like, it's like, again, it's like, it's not Wolverine. It's not even X-23. It's the blonde ultimate Wolverine son, that kid. You know what I'm saying? Where I'm like, dude, I don't need that. Like, I don't need like blonde Wolverine is not what anybody wants.
How about that Winter Soldier Wolverine though?
That's supposed to be coming in Ultimates, right? Like I haven't read it yet, but that sounds interesting at least. But again, that's Logan.
Right, yeah.
That's Logan and the Winter Soldier as one person, and that sounds interesting. But you know, but going back, news out of New York Comic Con is so you have Venom, a new Venom book. We don't know who Venom is, who the host is. Then we find out Eddie Brock is going to be Carnage. So Eddie Brock has the Carnage symbiote. So they're trying to do like Lethal Protector, but it's like, can Eddie Brock rein in the Carnage symbiote and make it like noble? Which I'm just like, I don't know if that's interesting enough for me to like actually.
Who's writing this shit?
You know what? I'm not even sure if I know the answer to that question. Hold on, let me find out for you.
It feels like it doesn't matter. Like, especially that's what it's been like with Marvel ever. You know, once I got into like Dark Web and shit, like it really doesn't matter who's writing this shit. Some of it's gonna be good, some of it's gonna be terrible, and they're just pushing on whatever they want, which makes Absolute Batman and even Absolute Power like a breath of fresh air.
Right.
When it comes to the big two, you know.
You got to get the Marvel way. There's a formula.
Yeah, no, but that ain't it. Like, you know,
isn't it?
Like,
it's been like that for a while.
They need to bring back Bendis and shit. Bendis, Fraction, Brubaker, like, yeah.
So Eddie Brock Carnage is gonna be written by Charles Soule and drawn by Jesus Ciaz.
Okay.
So
I hate to cut this short, but should we do Uzumaki?
We still have a little more New York Comic Con news.
Yeah. Okay. We will get there in 1 second. What I will say is this is the other thing that they did out of New York Comic Con, and this was like they're gonna do a Spider-Verse versus Venomverse. And like I mentioned, symbiote events all the time. Like Venomverse was one of the events. I have no idea what Venomverse is. Not only do I not know, but I haven't had any there's no part of me that wanted to know.
It's not as interesting as Spider-Verse.
Oh, listen, you have to tell me that.
It's more like that Dragon Ball Z like multiverse fight in the tournament at the end, where it's just
Hey,
like, it just went on a little too long, like 5 episodes.
Oh,
too
the
long.
Tournament of Power.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all I'm saying is I saw Venomverse versus Spider-Verse, and I immediately my initial thought was, I'm not touching that at all. Like I don't need that. Like because Spider-Verse at this point, from a comic book perspective, feels played out.
yeah.
So I'm just like,
And it's not anybody, like all the cool people you wanted to see either died or or it's gonna be just it's gonna be Spider Boy fighting them with the people he's been fucking with in the Spider-Verse, which is like your cartoon Morales and Spider-Man from one of the new cartoons, like
100. Listen, I was just like,
yeah.
I don't. It like there's like I'm like
it's like a weak ass Web Warriors.
I couldn't even imagine like who you would put on that book that would make me be like, I'll give that a shot. Because at this point, I'm just like from a premise perspective. And again, like, don't get me wrong, this is bias. I'm not sitting here saying, like, speaking to you from the perspective of an informed consumer in regards to like, oh, Venomverse wasn't that great, and Spider-Verse has waned off, so the combination. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying, well, what I am saying is Spider-Verse has waned. Venomverse, I know nothing about and don't want to know anything about, and just as a Marvel guy, if you're not gonna like interest me enough even just to be like, let me give it a shot, that feels like a bad way to go. So but anyway, did you all hear about the shenanigans that went on at Peach Momoko's booth?
No, what happened there?
So apparently there was a fist fight at Peach Momoko's booth to try to get her variants. Like at New York Comic Con.
Or what? Like
no, it's not. No, it's not about. Well, don't get me wrong.
Causing trouble.
No. All right, listen. Don't you ever put that on Peach Momoko. Peach Momoko.
Was
here's the thing. But yeah, she was there. And
is she okay? Did she get hurt?
Was she at it was a comicsketchart.com booth?
She did not get hurt. I don't know if it was Comic Sketch Art booth or not, but I do know it was a convention exclusive book.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the thing, or at least here's what I didn't remember. Apparently, this has happened before.
That's what I'm saying. It was her again.
No, but it's not. But it's never her fault. Like Peach
It's a common denominator.
Yeah, she's there though.
But
two adds up.
Here's the point. Here's the part that like blows my mind, because like Peach Momoko's art is nice. Is it that nice to fight over? Like I've been like I'm saying like, oh
no, like, it's not.
I'm sitting here like I don't understand it just because like Peach Momoko is a good artist. I'm not like I don't ever look at her art and be like, what is this? I've never felt that way. But I've never been like
when we did the cover, the Hulkling, the Young Avengers cover where Hulkling was kissing Wiccan or something, and it just looked like some kid's like 5-year-old like kindergarten coloring like project.
Okay. No, listen. Yeah. I believe Miss Peach Momoko has made a bad cover. I believe that. You know, at the same time, let's say generally speaking, I don't think her art's terrible, but I don't know. So like she is super popular, and she's so popular, people are willing to go to blows in multiple events. Even though what I will say is this, apparently, like, or I won't say apparently. What I'll say is the 2 times that this has happened, it's happened at New York Comic Con. So I don't know if Peach Momoko's the common factor or if New York Comic Con is the common factor.
No, people just want to get the rare variants to flip them. It's a nice cover, but
Peach Momoko was not the only person doing rare variants. So what is it about?
That was her Spawn cover?
That's the Spawn. Yeah, this is what people were fighting over. They're like, the position in line.
It's not just a rare variant, though. It's an exclusive to the con.
Yeah, no, I get it, but
that's what I'm saying.
Like, it's not the best Spawn cover I've ever seen.
Nah, they just thought they'd make money off of it.
It's too bright for me. I need it darker.
Oh, I wouldn't say it's too bright.
I don't think it's that, but it's just not. It's still like it's just a watercolor version of Spawn that like I could have done in 3rd grade.
Well, here's what I will say. As far as Spawn covers go, there's not a lot of them that are going to look like that. Like most garbage. Spawn covers have a it's not. I won't say garbage. I'm going to say like most Spawn covers have a very similar look. And if you're like a person that collects Spawn, and I'm saying that like by design, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm not saying like it's a thing like there's anything wrong with that. I'm just saying that like Todd McFarlane obviously decides who gets to do covers of Spawn, and most of them don't look like what Peach Momoko does, but he's decided he would like Peach Momoko to do a Spawn cover because I mean I would assume because of her popularity, right? Like which is wild because it's one of these things where like when Mike Wellman was doing movie screenings at the comic like out of Comic Bug for all of the big comic book movies.
Yeah.
He got like he would have like the posters.
Right.
That are the limited edition for like literally like
a print for the movie you're seeing, yeah.
Right. And so it's like there would only be like maybe like 150. Period. One of those was done by Peach Momoko in like 2019. It was Captain Marvel, I'm pretty sure. In like 2019. And I'm just like, that's wild because I'm like, that's like a rare piece of Peach Momoko art that you could only get if you were there. And I'm sitting here like, damn it. Like
fight Mike for it.
If I had laminated that joint, you could probably sell that joint for hundreds of dollars on the internet right now.
You still have yours, right?
I definitely have one.
Look, bring it to the shop. I'll sell it tomorrow.
That Peach Momoko cover is selling for $300 for the raw and $500 for the CGC graded copy.
Here's my question. Here's my question. Are any of the fights on World Star?
No.
Listen, I don't think they're World Star worthy fights, but
they're like
right. It's like cat fights where they mess around and like actual kittens, like where they hit each other in the head but lightly, and then the other person takes a turn to hit each other in the head but lightly. Probably. I don't believe that there was any blood drawn. But who knows?
Nice to see who throws the punch.
They are New York City nerds. New York City nerds might be tougher than we imagine.
A little bit, yeah.
A little. So, so you know.
Because I remember, I don't know. You weren't there at the LA, the Shrine show where the guy's girlfriend spilled. The one dude that finally had a girlfriend, his girlfriend spilled soda on. I think it was like Jeffrey's like table with the comics or something, and it turned into a fight, and it was like, this is LA nerds. Yeah.
Hey, 100%. Anyway. All right. Anything else we want to say about New York Comic Con before we switch to Uzumaki?
You mentioned something about Vertigo coming back, and I just want to say, what the fuck for?
You feel like we could just do Black Label and roll with that?
Yeah, like you took it away for a reason. When they didn't kill Vertigo when they took away the label. They killed it when they fired the editorial staff that was running it.
I hear that.
And they're not bringing that staff, you know? And the guy, I read a quote on Twitter from the dude that's running Black Label now, and he's like, I'm super excited that we're coming back. Bitch, you ain't coming back from nothing. Like, your shit didn't work, and they're rebranding it because you couldn't do your fucking job and sell these fucking comics.
Damn. Hey, listen.
That's all I have to say. That's the story I wanted to get to. We could talk about
the take. That's the take. Even though I will say, and I'll just mention real quick, and we can talk more about this next week. IDW changed their logo, and I don't know if you all have seen it.
Against my wishes, but yeah.
Yeah, like they made a mistake. Look, you need to talk to your people, Mo. You need to talk to your people, Joe.
Jay wasn't there when we talked about it.
Do you have it?
Look, we can pull it up real quick.
Did the stock go lower?
I mean,
No.
probably not. It can't get lower. That's too funny. But yeah, like it's just one of those things where it's just like it's legit like somebody like taking a page out of like the DC like logo book.
Yeah, with the
DC Comics logo book.
The
and
peeling,
just
peeling of the post-it.
Yeah, like it was just like, dude, like really? Like, are we really doing this? Like it's pretty wild. Like, okay, listen. Oh, it's too. I got a small version here. I'm like it's okay. I'm gonna just share the small version so you can see it.
We can zoom in, I think.
But I'm just like, wow, like I can't believe that this is what they were like. Yeah. It's like one of these things where it's like, if you know IDW, you can probably see it. But if you don't know IDW, you're like, what's this? You're like, you might as well, it could be LD.
Larry David.
Right.
Larry David.
Right. And so
my criticism to them when we discussed this was to do that slash higher and make the bottom offset and bigger so that the W is like overlapping.
More prominent.
What's overlapping, like it's like you sliced it and it moved forward and above a little, like, you know.
Why the slice though? What do you think the slice is for?
Ninja Turtles to differentiate the money
W
right now, like.
Oh, is that what it is? Like that's legit. Like, oh, you can see it's a W because there's a slash through it.
Yeah.
No.
That's
exactly because I'll tell you exactly what this is because I see this a lot. This is actually somebody just out of college because they're trying to copy the college style logos for the football teams.
Oh, got you. No, I believe you. Because it definitely reeks of somebody that's inexperienced. Especially in comparison to like what like the OG IDW logo was. Like, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that like the OG IDW logo is like
the one with the light bulb.
Well, here's the thing. Like, I feel like the light bulb you don't even see that much. I feel like you just see like more so like
no,
the
but
more
is that the one you're talking about? Like when you call it OG.
Oh yeah. The one that would have the light bulb next to it if you do that. But often these days we don't even see the light bulb with IDW, just because people don't even know like why it's called IDW, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. But it's like I feel like just that classic IDW, as plain as that is a better logo, which just sucks because it's like, ugh. But anyway.
Here's my take. The logo looks better than the SmackDown logo, and they're both using the same idea. But the SmackDown but SmackDown uses it on just the S and the D, and it looks like shit. And this looks better because you can tell every letter is separate to a point. And you can see what it says.
See, I'm looking at the SmackDown logo now, and I didn't know what it looked like, so I had to go look.
Yeah,
because I like the SmackDown logo better.
Do you? Nah. Which one are you looking at? Are you looking at the one?
Hold on, I'll show you right now.
Where the D's the bottom of the S?
Yes.
Yeah, that's no, because it looks like what did everybody say? Like Smacksow, or like it's so bad.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead, Jay.
Tiger Claw says if you guys don't see it, you need glasses. If you need glasses to see a logo, it's a bad logo.
Right.
Right. 100%.
Yeah.
100%. This is the SmackDown logo. See, now this joint I like better only because at least it's like two different things happening here, right?
The D closes to the D.
Right.
Like, because you see it's overlapping the S part where it's like, which is what I was telling them to do with the W. Like, have the W overlap, but the D's got to be the D.
I see 5 Mac owned.
Mac own.
See, like if you take away the color, what do you see?
But
Yeah,
why would you
no,
take away the color?
Right. Like they put the color in there for that
That's
reason.
intentional.
Right. And that's the whole thing where it's like, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying this is the best logo. I'm just saying it's better than the IDW one. Because the IDW one, like,
this is where my degrees come into play. When you're printing out a logo, you have to have it good for what you want. This is a multimedia thing.
Yeah.
Right.
So you got the different colors. If you're printing it on paper, black and white, how's it gonna look?
Yeah.
It's gonna look light on the top and dark on the bottom.
Again, and even like the example you chose for IDW to show is that's what's going to be on the letterhead. That's what's going to be on a hat. And it's just one color. If you take away the color, it's going to look the same. Like it's not, and that's what makes it super rudimentary.
Yeah.
At best, the SmackDown one you can split into black and white.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Which makes it better.
Yeah.
Only if you split it in black and white. Because if it's one color, it looks like shit.
But even if you desaturate everything, it'll still have different contrast. Yeah. The IDW one doesn't.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the problem. That's the problem with that one. But to me, it feels like it's more separated.
I gotta buy 5,000 more shares.
That tiny little slice too is gonna, when you make it like a small print, the smaller version of it, you're not even gonna see that slash.
Well, that's why I wanted the W to stand out forward and up a little, where it's like almost 3-dimensional, you know. But they don't listen to me, just like you guys.
That's why you gotta buy those 5,000 shares, man. Then they'll listen.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Uzumaki. Let's do some TV.
Where's the music?
It's coming.
No, more about gel coat. When the fourth round would... Don't you call in...
Doesn't look good already.
Jumbo Scampi for limited...
All right. Uh-oh. We lost Moses. It happens. Uzumaki.
Me too.
Oh, damn it, Jay. Okay, hurry, Jay. Talk to us about Uzumaki. What is it? What do you think?
It's a cartoon about a cursed town where spirals are infecting everything and making people mad and killing people. 5 out of 5.
Okay, wait. Don't go yet, Joe. We still got 3 minutes. So,
2.5.
How do you feel about this in relation to the graphic novel?
I went into it without rereading the graphic novel.
Right.
So, I want to watch it as fresh as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And in relation, I think it, like from what I remember, it's good. Definitely the people that have read it more recently than I, their opinions on it are probably a little more relevant than mine. Mm-hmm. But it's been a while since I I've read it, and I liked what I saw. Yeah, the animation gets janky. Yeah, it's a little rushed in a couple of spots, but overall, I think it came out really well. I wish it came out better, but I think for what they did, I think they made the right choice in releasing it.
Okay. What when you say you wish it had come out better, is it specifically animation related, or is there something else that makes you
animation wish? And the pacing, I think, could have been a little better.
Mm-hmm. Did they change the story a lot, or was it a departure? Or
not a lot, from what I recall.
Okay.
Not a lot, but they definitely moved stuff around.
I know they shuffled characters' deaths around, from what I remember, but yeah,
right.
Okay. Like I know for myself, like I didn't get to go back and read it either, and I was hoping to get the chance to do that, and I didn't get to. But you all know my memory sucks. But there were some things that I saw that I was like, I remember that happening in the book. And other things like there were definitely moments that I was like, oh, like it's so like the story moments are so impactful that I was like, oh, I remember reading that, and so some of those I did see, but others like the ending, which I'm very well like I may not have finished the whole thing, and maybe that was what it was, because I was just like, oh, I don't know what's going to happen anymore.
Yeah, there are. From what I recall, Uzumaki was in 2 volumes.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you only read the first volume,
right,
you don't get to the part where the town is trying to connect itself into a spiral, which was crazy. Like all those twisted people doing that, like
it's insane.
Man.
Yeah. No, it's like, how do you all feel? And this can be you, Jay, if you want to answer, and then Mo or Oz, whoever. Like, how do you all feel about the translation from it to, from a graphic novel to animated, as it relates to the disturbing nature of the imagery?
I think they made a good call not trying to doing it in black and white, the 3D, like giving it like a more 2D look. We've seen Junji Ito's works in anime form before, and something about it when you put the colors and the effects and
motion,
like it's creepy, but it's not as creepy as the comic, and this gets a lot closer to that, I think.
The black and white helps. The they kind of did the pacing. They kind of took their time to show you stuff to see, like if you were reading almost. Like they got stuck on a panel. I felt like the first 2 episodes kind of did that, and then the other 2 were kind of just more rushed. And I feel like this really kind of cements my opinion that like Junji Ito is best read. It's like some of these things in motion are just, they don't hit the same. Like, and when we talk about like how we watched like the Junji Ito collection on like Crunchyroll in the past, and some of these things just kind of felt dumb or corny or whatever, but going back and reading them in static form, panel by panel, like the imagery without motion is a lot creepier and a lot more intense. And towards the end of this series, I'm like, man, what the fuck are they doing over here? Like, shit just looked dumb, but it's like, I don't. It's not. It almost made me feel like the story wasn't even that good a little bit, And especially after like watching something like Housing Complex C, which is like essentially the same thing as this. Yeah, it came out after. It could be a ripoff. They're both Lovecraft ripoffs to a degree. So it just Housing Complex C just did a better job of creating tension and grounding it into something you might be afraid of if you travel to a place like that.
Yeah. Okay. So, Jay, before we lose you, buddy, again, tell the people
I'm not gonna leave you. I'm not gonna
okay, good. Oh, okay. Oh, there it is. Never mind that, Jay. Okay. Oz, what did you think?
Okay, so here's the thing. Your text message said horror comic Uzumaki. So I read the book.
Good.
Wait a minute. Those are on 2 different lines, Oz.
But also, Oz asked like he wasn't here last week where we talked about. I mentioned it's in your emails from IDW, the Exorcism at 1600 Penn. Yeah. Like you were here
I
for
read the
that.
book.
So you didn't watch it? You just read the comic?
Yeah, I read the book.
Did
Now
you
you
read
gotta
two
make
volumes or one?
One.
Okay.
Well, what'd you think?
He couldn't really get into it. Like there was nothing about the dude looking at the spirals that got me interested. And okay, so they get to his place and his place is covered with spirals and he's swirling like his ramen or whatever. Like it's just like I was sitting there like I'm not scared at all. Like there's nothing. It's just weird. Okay, but it's supposed to be a horror comic. I thought
but
based on the
so
text.
one of the things that does happen, and this is a Japanese show, like in Japan, the spiral is known for something meaning more like good fortune. So this thing is a subversion of that concept in Japan, and that's where like I can see Japanese people really buying into it. But again, like watching it in motion for me, it just like I stopped giving a fuck about the
Yeah,
spiral.
but the Japanese are also like right now are like the masters of that ambiance horror, like
Yeah,
suspenseful stuff, and I just wasn't getting any of it with this one.
you got to watch the live action one.
Now, did you get to any of the body horror stuff, or like how far did you get in it?
A little bit after they go to his house and it's just covered in spirals.
Okay, so you didn't see like them
So
like
you didn't see when
contorting
he
and
turned himself into a spiral?
No, I didn't. I did not get that far.
Oh, that's crazy.
that's one of the things that really like shines here. Like even though, and especially like in the first couple episodes where those moments like they freeze, like it's almost like a motion comic a little bit, where it's like it looks like from the book, and they pause so you can look at them, and that helped. But again, that I felt like maybe the last episode or the last two episodes kind of just breezed by, like without they had those things in it, but they're just like, all right, we got to finish this, you know.
How many episodes was it?
4.
Really?
Mhm.
I thought it was like 6.
No, 4. But Housing Complex C is also 4, and they managed to give you a full, compelling story with the body horror and everything, and the lore explaining what it is. Which I don't need the explanation, but they managed to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I know for me, like, I was surprised by how much, like, how eerie it still felt animated, because I thought it would lose a little something. And I guess it does technically, but not enough for it to be significant to me, especially like when you start, like,
You're so
like
scared of everything.
all the eye stuff really bothered me. like the dudes like with his independently moving eyes, and they're like, which it looks crazy in the comic. Seeing those eyes actually in motion was like, ugh. Like, and don't get me wrong, it
one
wasn't
chick
like I
with the
was
spiral, like the eye going
right. Ugh.
Yeah.
I was about to say that next. Like that, yeah. The spiral with the eyeball on the friggin' edge of it. I was not a big fan of that either. But
I followed a tattoo artist that all she did was Junji Ito tattoos, and she did that on the skin, like, and that's where I'm like, man, you know what? Like, fucking Junji Ito like really works in tattoos. Like, when I was watching that, because it's like I didn't get as creeped out as you did. I got more creeped out reading it statically, and then just searching Junji Ito art. Like, I get more creeped out than.
No, I do agree. Like, I feel like the art is creepier.
Yeah.
And, I don't know what it is. Like, because I agree also with the idea that, color doesn't help it. It's better in black and white, which makes it closer.
I was like 3 pages away from the human spiral.
Yeah, man, it's a wild, freaky thing, man.
I was like, I know I saw him turn his tongue, but you said his whole body, and then I just kept going. Oh, there it is.
There it is,
Yeah.
right? So
yeah, it's a little bit of a slow burn.
You're talking about the
comment.
the okay.
A little bit of a slow burn.
So the anime goes quicker.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, what are you gonna say, Mo?
Oh no. The part of it too is maybe because again, I'm not super in love with this series as much as I thought I'd be. You know, like seeing it in trailers again, seeing it in little pieces. Like I'm like fuck, and then when I finally get it, it just doesn't hit how I wanted to. But I've also probably I've been a little desensitized, I think, because I do like that's his style of art, and I been following other artists in Japan that do similar stuff where it's like, okay, now that I'm finally seeing this in motion, it's not like I think it's more the idea of it I was more in love with than the actual execution of it.
Right. No, I mean I can see that. I can definitely see that. So okay.
Like if any of you out there do want to see something that is less dated, maybe the color adds to it. I'll share it with you right now. This is a dude named Shintaro Kago, and he's one of the dudes. I almost bought like 5 of his books at Monster Palooza, and but they're not in English, so I was like, I don't. Should I buy it? Yeah, but so this is like one of them right here, and you know, he kind of does like the body horror stuff too.
Those are all tattoos?
No, they're just no. It's just the artist. Like he
Oh,
does graphic novels and stories too.
got it.
The picture
Can
with
you
the
click
hat
on
is
one of those?
realistic.
I'm trying to. I did, but it went into another tab. So let me see here. I don't know. Did it switch tab? No, it didn't switch tab. Okay, hold
I
on.
feel like I've seen this dude's stuff before.
I'll open one up and then
Just hit
let me start
visit.
sharing.
Oh,
No, I do, but it goes like it doesn't share what it goes to. So
got it.
let me reshare. I think this is one. Nope. Okay, I think this.
No.
So Uzumaki, was there anything else you wanted to say about it?
Ugh, that's crazy. I definitely don't like that. In the way where I like it. Like it's good, but I don't like it. Anyway, yeah, Uzumaki. Yeah, I don't like. I think I'm ready to rate. Do you all want to rate Uzumaki or?
Okay. I'll go 5 out of 5. I recognize the flaws and I hear what people are saying bad about it, but for me it hit good.
Did they dislike it more than the other joint that we talked about? The shorts?
They were more just disappointed.
Mm.
Because the production was fucked. And the director's not saying who fucked it, but it definitely got fucked.
Got
And
it.
Episode 1 was the best as far as pacing, animation,
Right.
like everything was down pat, and you can see the drop in the other episodes.
I agree with that.
And so people were just kind of like, we've been waiting a while for this, and this is what you're giving us. And the guy is like, we have to make a choice: either not do it at all, release episode 1 because that's the one that came out the way we wanted it to, and just release the whole thing because we all worked really fucking hard despite all the shit that went down. And so they ended up releasing all 4. And I feel that was the better of the 3 options.
Got it. Okay. 5 out of 5 for Jay. What say you, Moses?
For me, it's a. I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5. Like, it was a disappointment.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's fair. That's fair. I'm gonna give it a. I think I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5, just because I feel like it invoked the spirit of what it was supposed to. But yeah, it's definitely not. You know, it's far from perfect, but I think it's good. And I think if you're a Junji Ito fan, I think you got to check it out. Um, but that's just my opinion. Oz, you want to give us your you want to rate the graphic novel from what you read?
I I couldn't get into it, so 3 because I didn't get to the body horror stuff.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. And Heck, do you want to rate the review?
I'll give it a 4.
Thank you, Heck. We appreciate you. Moses, what is this that you're showing us?
This is another artist, Tokyo Jesus. This is one of his more tame stuff.
Oh, okay.
But what he does is he actually does paintings, and then he sculpts his paintings. So all this stuff started in this like sketchbook and paint book, and I was in pandemic. I was able to find. He never sold into West Coast on this side of the planet, and I was able to buy one, but mine doesn't look nearly as good as these. Like it looks like that one with the horns in the middle, but it's not painted. It's just cast. Like he just gave me an unpainted one because with pandemic he didn't have time to do all of that. So
got it.
Yeah. So I bought one of the first. I think I bought the 9th one sold on this side of the planet, and
damn.
Yeah. And now I have to worry about painting it.
What's the artist's name you said?
Tokyo Jesus.
Tokyo Jesus.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, cool.
I aspire to go visit him in Japan one day and smoke weed with him.
Word. Okay, cool. Anything else y'all want to talk about before we get out of here?
Oh, we're not doing 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue? Like Exorcism?
Oh,
you didn't read it? Okay.
I did not read it. I didn't know we were doing it because no one said that.
Well, we talked about it last week, so I figured, that's what we're doing.
No. I agree. I was hoping, but I didn't get any confirmation, so I just I didn't realize. But we can do that. We can definitely do it next week.
I've been.
I didn't spend my time reading it for nothing. So.
Like review.
Hey, whatever you want to do, man.
Not like that, but like.
My fucking time's so limited that I took time to read it. I might as well talk about it.
Okay.
Where is this? 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Exorcism at 1600 Penn. The book's not even out yet. It's something that IDW gave us an advanced copy to do, so I can't share art with you not because they say you can't, but because it's watermarked and it just doesn't do it justice as a review. There's no embargo for it, so I can talk about it. But it's not. It was a big thing on social media, like people getting their signatures and stuff with it. They loved it. They're like, oh yeah, they're excited for it. Like it's this creative team is the next big thing. I'm happy to have them at IDW as a shareholder, and as a comic fan, but I need them to step this shit up. This first issue is like 47 pages and nothing happens for 46 pages. And I know that's like a horror thing now. Like I watched that movie X, and the first kill happens like 50 minutes in or some shit. And it's like, I get it's a vibe, it's what you're doing, but nah, like this isn't like, I don't know. They're trying to make horror into cinema. And I'm not saying you shouldn't. In comics, it's like, come on, man. I'm taking my time to read this shit. I need something Give me a kill at least, or something explaining what the demon is. You know, when you saw The Exorcist is a slow burn. That's the key. Like that is the template for a possession movie. And the first thing they show you is a bunch of people that don't speak English. They don't bother with subtitles or anything. They're like, they just see the statues like, Belzegog, whatever the fuck his name is. And then it turns into Captain Howdy later in the movie or whatever the fuck. And then, little by little, Reagan starts pissing herself a little more, shitting herself more, vomiting herself, whatever. You see her downturn into the, but it starts with these people that aren't white, aren't your person. They're strangers to you, afraid of something that you cannot understand, And if you're going to give me 40 pages about a possession story at the White House, and nothing happens for 46 pages, you're fucking up. Give me 1 page in the middle of whatever artifact or whatever deal she did to get president, that now they're paying, they're coming back for the kid's soul now, whatever the fuck. I don't want to wait for issue 2 for this shit,
But wait, is that what ended up happening though? Like, are they like you said 40 pages? Like you don't see.
I said 47 pages, and I said 46. If it didn't happen, I wouldn't say it. Yeah.
Wait, what? What do you mean? Like, wait,
like
I'm trying to ask.
You asked me if that's what happened. I just said that's what happened.
Well, I didn't finish the question.
Okay, finish your question.
It's like they don't show you any of the exorcism until like at
they don't show any possession. Like they don't show any reason why they should be possessed. They don't show anything occult. There's like problems happening overseas. They're discussing policy for 2 pages. And now granted, like the comic paneling is cool. Like the president is in an actual oval in the middle of the page because she's in the Oval Office. Get it? Get it? But there's nothing about it. Like maybe some of that shit has something to do. Maybe it's a spiritual terrorist attack or something. But there's nothing. I didn't get that from any of these 46 pages.
Damn.
I think Lawrence would like 40 pages of policy talk.
I know. That's why. Like I was excited for him to read it, but he didn't. Even though we talked about reading it.
Yeah. Listen. In fairness, we didn't confirm. But that's okay. Like I will read it because I want to. But what I'll say, I was just like 46 pages.
It'll be your favorite horror comic ever because there's nothing horror about it.
It's just that's wild though that you don't get any kind of like strong horror element for 40 something pages. Like that's wild.
Yeah, like you have the Catholic Church. I mean, like if that scares you, like. But they're not like touching kids or anything. Like if anything, they're being lenient on the kids because they're like the president's kid, like a female.
They're not like they're not secret cultists or anything.
As far as I can tell, no. Maybe there's something I missed. I don't know. I mean, I wish you guys would have read it like we said we should. But it's
You wish that the Christians would have actually read the Christian-based book.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Okay. How was the art?
The art was serviceable. It was good. Like I know, again, like I was watching a lot of the stories and TikToks and about New York Comic Con, and they're like, "Oh, the best artist ever!" And it's like, look, I'm happy you got to meet him. Like I'm happy for you. It's not the best comic book art there is, but it is consistent and it gets the job done. If there was scary shit to happen, I am sure Vanessa Del Rey would have like made me feel scared. But none of that happened in it. So it's just basically like I'm watching Vanessa Del Rey do like Rex Morgan, MD, or like the West Wing comic strip, like the West Wing comic strip on the New York Times. Like because there's nothing like I'm waiting for horror. Vanessa Del Rey, like I love her book. Like if you follow us on TikTok, she did was it Basic Instinct, the remake of Basic Instinct in comic form that I did as a segment on TikTok called Cunt comics you never thought existed. And yeah, Vanessa Del Rey does an amazing job there. Like her art there is actually better than here. And but I'm not gonna hold her like I'm gonna hold her to her own standard. Like this is a script she was writing. You know, she's gonna make it look like The West Wing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like the first 2 pages of Basic Instinct are way more terrifying, or they convey more tension or anything that isn't even a horror thing than the whole book of Possession at 1600 pen.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, man, that's fair. So, well, what would you rate it?
As a horror comic, it's a 2. Like this is not. I'm it's Halloween time. We need Larry don't want to watch horror movies. I want to read horror comics, and this ain't it.
Now, look, does it bode well for like like IDW
between the logo and this? I'm like, hey, I gotta buy 10,000 more shares because like I gotta impose my will at this point. It's gotta be a dictatorship. It's not capitalism. This is gotta be. It's gonna become totalitarianism.
Yeah, because like IDW Dark was like the other thing that they really like, because we already knew that they were going to do like horror, but
and this
they
is one of
like
their
officially...
this is one of their like figurehead for that, and it's not.
I'm not even sure if this might be pre IDW Dark, but
the way they've been, I've been seeing it with the hashtags and everything. I'm like, this is something they're banking on.
Yeah,
and it's like, you know what? You should have let me read it 6 months ago. We could have had a, Now, granted, the copy I got is a provisional copy. It's not the finished product. Might not be that. So,
you think they're gonna change some words or change like plot?
If you would have read the book, if you would have read your email where the book was sent to you, it says that. It says on it like, this is an editorial copy. It might be different when it comes out. You feel free to talk about it, but some of the art might be different, some of the dialogue might be different. It might be a shorter book, but they say they feel free to talk about it. There's no embargo on it. So
right,
I don't like this art at all.
Yeah. But you got to look at the Basic Instinct art. She's a great artist, Vanessa Del Rey.
Yeah. No, she's good.
Yeah, but this looks like it's her preliminaries that she just handed in and got colored over.
Which is probably, again, the book is like, when it finally comes out, it's going to be different, or it might be different. So this is an editorial copy. I should have read the first draft.
Bro, I'm about to buy 5,000 shares of IDW.
Go ahead, bro.
I did the math.
Yeah.
It ain't worth nothing.
No,
we can take over that motherfucker.
But that's what I'm saying. But again, it's like, here's the thing. Like, if I was gonna businessman, I'd be like, nah, man, just invest in the airline. Yeah, it's only 2 shares that you can afford or whatever. But in the long run, like, because here it's like I have faith in IDW. I want them to do better, and I'm gonna yell at them every chance I get. Being a shareholder already, I got in there to have to make an impact. That's why I bought in. Platinum Studios is another one that I've been trying to get. They won't let me buy because I want to buy like 30,000 shares.
You talking about the gaming company?
No, the one that took now Youngblood, like Rob Liefeld's going back to Youngblood because Platinum Studios owns Youngblood, and and that's like they didn't want to let me buy because they're planning that shit. Yeah, they're keeping it all for themselves.
Right.
And the shit's not gonna come out on time, so but we might get Bloodsport 2 finally, if that's the case. If I were investing in it. Yeah.
Right. Okay. All right. So you said 2 as a horror comic.
Yeah.
For the rating. Okay. Cool. Anything else we want to talk about before we get out of here?
I've been reading some shit.
What you been reading, Hank?
I have been reading Multiversity because I found a really cheap copy on Amazon.
Oh yeah, Multiversity,
yeah. And that.
What do you think of that?
I'm about 3 or 4 issues in, and I really like it a lot because it's using people that you don't normally focus on.
Right.
and I'm liking it so far, and I like the retroness of the covers, how they kind of go old school on them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about the story yet. I don't think I'm all the way into it enough to really judge it, but I'm liking it so far. And then
listen,
today
I'm not mad at that.
I knew about it and I had totally forgotten about it. They made a mini series of Jason Lives, and
a comic book miniseries.
Yeah, like basically everything that happened after, from the point of him surviving.
Okay.
And so I read that little miniseries, and I just finished it during this show, but I'll review it next week.
That's how riveting we were.
It was during the stuff that I don't know nothing
the
about.
Uzumaki stuff,
basically, because I had been reading it before the show, and then I was like, "Oh shit, Fantastic Forum!" And then you guys did Uzumaki, so I was like, "Oh, okay, time to finish this." Because I was like halfway done, and it's interesting, but I have issues.
Okay.
And yeah, I'll review it next week.
Okay. Yeah, definitely finish it, and then we can talk about it.
Oh, it's finished, but yeah, next week.
Fair.
Unless you want me to do it now, then I can run it down real quick.
Nah, let's do it next week.
All right, cool.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. What happened? Was that me?
No, I had a message.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, cool. Let's get out of here. Let's do some final thoughts. Give me some final thoughts, buddy.
Hey, read comics. They're good for you. They're good for your soul. And buy vegetables because you need those for good meals. And it's something I have to do.
Amen. Listen, I love that you're like, buy comics because they're good for you, and buy vegetables for some other reason. No.
They're good for you too, I guess.
For some other reason that escapes me at the moment. I love it. Oscor, final thoughts.
Just happy to be finally getting out of this hotel.
Amen. Yeah, man. I hope you get home, or whatever passes for home in the moment. Like, it'll be home soon, I'm sure. So, Moses Magnum, final thoughts.
Man, read fucking comics. We should have stuff coming out tomorrow, but probably not. But I've been editing all our LA Comic Con shit, and it's hard. So it should be out by this weekend. Yeah, but yeah, stay tuned. Like, subscribe, hit the bell, or don't. Who gives a fuck?
Look, for the entire Fantastic Forum, thank you all so much for hanging out with us. We do appreciate you. Please give us some feedback. Let us know what you like and what you don't like, what you'd like to see more of. We want to hear all of that. And yeah, I mean, look, like, subscribe, hit the bell. We'll be back next week either way. So until then, we are the Fantastic Forum. You all have a good night.
Oh yeah, I gotta do that too.